All right, so we are live again for another episode of Money Talks, Love Listens. For those of you that are joining us tonight, happy Tuesday. I almost said Wednesday. I always forget what day it is. Every day is the same. It doesn't matter anymore. But this is a show, if you are new to the show, this is a show where we talk about relationships, dating, finances, sometimes sex. Depends on the topic, but all the stuff you're not supposed to talk about at the dinner table, that's what the show's about. Our guest today is Lisa. But before we get into our wonderful guest and me kind of asking her a few lovely questions, I would love to introduce my co-host again, Jim. Jim, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you, Gwen. Hello, Lisa.
Hi.
We're experts. A little bit about me is I run a financial services practice called THG in the western suburbs of Chicago. And, we are comprehensive financial planners in the wealth management side. And we work in 3 tiers. And that the first tier is risk management. We want to make sure that we hedge against any risk that could happen, whether it's, insurance-based planning or asset allocation or, with the global economy right now changing, we want to make sure everyone's prepared. And then we have the wealth accumulation side where we're building assets where people can retire one day or work toward an asset for maybe it's a home purchase or whatnot. And then a critical piece is the wealth disbursement side where, when you reach the finish line and you want to ride off in the sunset, so to speak, you want to make sure you have enough liquidity to support your lifestyle. And so we work in 3 tiers to make sure that if life throws you a curveball, we're good to go. But as you grow and develop, everything is working in the nice as a nice smooth engine.
I like
that's
that.
That's what I'm sticking to.
I like money. I like that.
Yeah. Everyone likes money. Who doesn't like money?
Yeah, right.
Today's show is a little different. We are talking about moms and kind of getting back into the groove. I'm going to do a little bit of a shout out right now. My lovely assistant, Gabby, had a baby about a month ago. He's really amazing and precious. And I know a lot of new moms are, kind of get back in that groove, whether it's work or just getting your body back and kind of just enjoying your individuality again. I am not a mom. I hope to be a mom very soon. That's obviously one of my goals. But obviously, I think for every woman, this is important. So, Lisa, can you welcome to the show? And I really want to know how you kind of got started in your career and why you do what you do.
Awesome. Well, I'll give like the little backstory spiel and then we can kind of go from there. So my name is Lisa Peranzo. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called A Healthful Life, which is an online personal training platform designed for the busy mom or the busy adult. Really, because let's be honest, not many of us are independently wealthy with like a ton of time to spare. I came into fitness kind of in a weird way. So I actually enlisted in the Army and went into ROTC right after September 11th, like right out of high school. Went into ROTC and I got really severely hurt. I shattered, fractured, and dislocated my right foot when I was 19. The anniversary of that injury was actually this past Sunday, oddly enough, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. I'm like, that's neither here nor there. Now it's been a while.
Well, happy anniversary to that.
Yeah, right. I'm like, get out of here. Some years I remember, some years I don't. But I did not walk for the better part of a year as a result of that injury. And as a result of that, I found health in a different way than some people find health. I found it in a way of how I wanted the longevity of my life to look, because I knew that I would be constantly addressing issues that came up as a result of the injury. So, time goes on and I graduated college, got my master's degree. You got to have all the paper to put up on the wall and frames and stuff. So I did those things, went into corporate America, and I was training as like a side hustle. And very quickly got disillusioned with corporate America. It's fine. I wanted to serve my community in a bigger way. I wanted to serve them and leverage my time in a way that worked better for me personally. And I wanted to have a bigger outreach than like my local community. So I left my job. Jim's like, ooh, I left my job without having a job. I don't know that I'd recommend that. It's okay. And jumped into fitness full time and started training full time. And as that grew and developed, and I started racking up the certifications because quite frankly, I get bored easily and I want to continue to challenge myself when it comes to like education and stuff like that. And I'm very curious in the fitness realm as to what motivates people to work out, what drives them, how the body moves in a modality of fitness, how people can overcome injury and all that kind of stuff. So I continue getting all these certifications, again, more paper on the wall. At the end, you know what? Oddly enough, none of that stuff's framed. Like none of it's framed. But well, okay. Maybe one day I'll have it like all hung up behind me. It's not today. And I noticed, especially after I became a mom, this very pervasive problem in my community of moms in particular just feeling like completely lost. And you guys are like, we talk about this a lot. Yes, totally, right? Like just losing their sense of self, knowing where they wanted to be, not really knowing how to get there when it came to their workouts. And it kind of started all tying together with this sense of overwhelm and this like fitness becoming this daunting prospect. And then it also tied into like self-worth and confidence issues of not feeling good about how they looked. And that translates into like every other realm of your life, right? Yeah. And I've had figured it out for myself, being a new mom, having a newborn and all those things. And I thought, like, what am I doing, like sitting on all of this if I'm not sharing it with my people? So a Healthful Life, my company, actually started as a blog of me just like sharing motherhood in the most organic way possible and sharing like the funny, dumb stuff that would happen so that people can have levity and laugh and like feel that joy again and realize that while it is serious, we can't take it that seriously all the time. Like we have to find some kind of lightness to it. And then it just evolved from there into a private coaching program of sitting down with these moms and figuring out like person by person, case by case, like what can we do? Not to get you on the cover of Sports Illustrated, although if that's your goal, I can get you there, but to get you that confidence back, to get you the fitness routine that you feel comfortable with so that you can see results and you can get that transformation and you can get rid of that sense of overwhelm and kind of gain that self-worth back. And then it's evolved since COVID because, you know, all the gyms shut down. Yeah. So it was like, the private coaching component continued. And then I started teaching virtual classes because why not? Yeah. People didn't want to give up on their health just because the gyms weren't open, but they didn't know how to do it on their own. So again, it went back to me being like, how can I serve my community? How can I help them? How can I step into that? How can I make the pivot? And I sent my crew a text and I was like, look this could be a cluster. This might not go well, but why don't we just try this online? They're like, I have a Zoom account. Yeah. Why kick me off? I have no idea. Let's just do it. And they were like, okay. And they trusted me. And that has meant the world to me, but that's where we're at now. It's kind of been a fun little journey.
That's a great story. I like that story.
I love the story. It's an amazing story. I always say, you know, thank you for your service. I always say that, obviously, to veterans. And I think it's really inspiring to see someone, you know, build a business, especially as a new mom, because that is already a full-time job in itself that you don't get paid for. Jim, we need to find a way to have moms get paid.
Working on it.
I know. But Lisa, for the new moms that are out there, and I know a lot of them are listening, I see a few likes already. How can they find confidence to get their bodies back? As you said, I know a lot of gyms are closed, or maybe it's just the juggling act of, I don't want to go to the gym, put a mask on, then go back, and you know, who's gonna watch my baby? And you know, how can they find time to just really nurture themselves?
I think the biggest thing, and I'll totally give tips on finding the time, but I think the biggest thing is and no one's going to like what I have to say, you have to be patient with yourself. There's this preconceived notion that like 6 weeks postpartum, 8 weeks postpartum, you're going to be back on that pre-baby body and like life is going to go back to normal. And no, that's not necessarily the case for every single person. And if that is the case for you, God, freaking cheers. That was not the case. That was not the case for me. Regardless, your body has gone through this insanely major experience, be it your first kid or not your first kid. You have to find in that space the patience and grace with yourself to heal. I think a lot of the times there's this tendency to jump back into fitness and make it be this really hardcore thing because we want to fit back into the skinny jeans. And I'm not here for wearing jeans. I literally do this job so I don't have to wear jeans and I can wear yoga pants. That's okay. But you have to have more patience with yourself than that. You know, pregnancy is a long process. The body is going to be a long process healing all the way back. And when I've said that to moms before, they get a little mad at me. And that's okay. With my daughter, my little delivery experience and everything that I went through, it took me like a solid 3 years. No lie, to get to the point where I was confident in my body again. I remember the first time I went to go work out in the brick and mortar I was training out of after I had her. I went when I knew no one would be there and I could lock myself in the room by myself. I went to go do something. I could not do it. I've been in this industry for over 10 years. At this point, I could not do it. And I literally laid on my back, started to cry and thought, oh my God, I'm going to need to find a new job. And that's me as someone who gets paid to do this. Yeah. So there's something to be said with saying, okay, I need to make sure that I'm giving to myself from a place of love and gratitude and respect and honor so that I can heal, so that I can find my strength, whatever that's going to look like now. And also letting go of preconceived notions of how you think things should be when it comes to your body. Because again, major transformations when you go through pregnancy, when you go through labor and delivery, and depending on how all that looks for you, your body will not be the same. Right. What it will be something different. Right. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be weak at all. You're still going to, I think you're stronger at that point, but you have to find where your new capabilities lie. And then you also have to work in the practicality of how working out works when you're a parent. Because long gone are the days, at least, where you could like plug in 4 hours at a gym, or like the 2 hour, I'm going to get the full body workout done. No, that's cute. And then the pandemic hit. and now like maybe your gym is open, but Gwen, like you were saying, like maybe you don't want to work out in a mask. Maybe your gym had daycare and now they don't have daycare. Maybe you have to reserve a time and that's not conceivable for you because of your kids. Yeah. Maybe you're just not comfortable doing it. All those reasons are valid. All of them hold weight, at least with me. So then now you have to find a different solution that works for you.
I love your answer. I think it was, thank you for sharing. That was really honest. And you don't hear that a lot of times. You're like, no, it'll be fine. You'll be great.
My daughter was the kid that I joined a gym that had daycare because every time I tried to work out at home, she could be in a dead sleep. She'd wake up and start screaming like she was being waterboarded. I'm not kidding. Every single time. Now it's better because she's 6, right? Like I got some years. And now she wants to like join in on the workouts. And she'll also tell you if you're not doing it right, if you're not going hard enough. She's the meanest trainer on the face of the planet. But that was really hard before, you know, like trying to find that time for me to take care of me. And she's always screaming. She's always That didn't last for forever. For the new moms, don't be scared. That didn't last for forever. Aaron was also my child.
I'll just have someone else have the baby and they can just bring it back to me when it's like 2. I'm really good with 2-year-olds. I'm awesome at 2. Like you come
I get that new thing. I've always been a swimmer. I played water polo in high school. And when I joined that gym that had the daycare, I would literally go and just swim and swim and swim. And just because I could go underwater and it was like muted. I needed it.
Smart.
What would be your advice for, I want to say women in general for this question, for those of us that aren't moms yet, for, kind of taking care of yourself, whether that's physically or, mentally, even a little bit emotionally. I know we're all dealing with this. I don't know what the hell this is. I'll just be honest. Whatever this is. I'm calling it now. Where your emotions are, I feel great. Everything's going to be okay. And then it's like, no, it's not.
I'm fine. I'm fine. You're fine. I'm fine. We're all fine. The perfunctory answer, you're like, no. I want somebody to tell me they're not okay. Don't tell me you're fine. If I ask, first of all, I very rarely ask, how are you? Because I get the I'm fine answer and I don't like it, but I don't want you to give me that answer. I think the biggest thing for women in general is finding the space that's for you by yourself. I didn't realize how much I needed that until COVID hit and everybody in my house was home all the time. And I was like, good Lord, I love these people. I need some space. So, 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
People out.
And I think that looks differently for every single person. Maybe that means for you, that's that really, really hard, like super intense HIIT workout where you just break a sweat and you feel like you're going to pass out. That's cool. Maybe, and I did have a client who did this. Maybe it means that you go into your closet and you meditate for 10 minutes every day. But neither are wrong.
Right.
Both are giving to yourself. If you can walk out of the experience and go, I feel better, then you've done the right thing. If you walk out and you're like, I'm still stressed, we need to fix something, that's not working.
That's good.
Well, these are great tips. Thank you so much, Lisa. I'm going to turn it over to Jim.
Okay. Well, I have to first start by saying, your story is excellent. I love hearing, from my perspective, I think it's actually fantastic that you left your prior job to go find something different. It's interesting that when we go through our interviews, I interview a lot of people to look at their financial health, not their physical health or mental health, but their financial health. And, really what I always try to target and look for is what their why is. So you weren't fulfilled. I mean, there are people I talk to that start their own businesses because at the end of the day, a check doesn't mean as much as being fulfilled. So I'm totally okay with that. I always recommend follow your why or follow your dream, because everything else will follow through if you believe in that stuff. So I took a look at a little bit of your background. I want to learn more about what the Combat Diva is.
Oh, Combat Diva is actually a podcast.
Okay.
That I have been very, very fortunate to record with. And I'm actually recording with them again in a couple days. They are absolutely fantastic.
Okay.
Both Army, it's just funny, down to earth. You meet people and you're just like, those are my people. That's how I felt when I met both of them. So okay. I have been very fortunate to be able to connect with them. They just released a book and celebrated their 2nd year anniversary on the podcast.
Okay. So this podcast, it's a group of people that you connect with. But what is it about? It's military women? Because I think that's the term Combat Diva sounds phenomenal.
Yeah, it's just military women. And I've been fortunate to be able to connect with a lot of vets and active duty people as a result of like stepping into this entrepreneurial space, which has actually provided for me like a whole other level of healing when it's come to my injury and stuff. Because I know we're limited on time, but in short, there was a tremendous amount of grieving that went on for me as a result of that process. And a lot of it was grieving how my body was different as a result of what happened to me.
Yeah.
And it was literally a freak training accident. Nobody was at fault. Nobody had done anything wrong. The Army took care of me. They paid for my education. They still paid for that injury. They've been amazing. And it's been cool to like get to connect with other active duty people and now vets and all that kind of stuff. So Combat Divas is one of those connections that I've made that's been phenomenal. And just be able to like sit back and like chit chat with them and laugh and stuff.
Yeah, I love that.
They actually ended up taking one of my virtual classes. I am going to tell them that I'm recording this. I am going to have them listen because I am going to call them out. After like 7 minutes, they said they were both cursing at me. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you.
I love that. I think that's
You
good.
went to boot camp, you should be fine.
Yeah. You know, it's good to connect like that because my team and my company, we do a lot of work with active duty and then retired or former military with career placement and financial planning. So it's good for you. I mean, from my perspective, it's great to have that connection for you for your healing process. So that's awesome. But I saw that and I had to ask. So thank you for sharing.
I like that.
And then when you go through your process with your clientele, you know, when you meet with somebody, I mean, what are some tips that you would give them? I know you said be patient with your bodies and whatnot. What kind of tips would you give them at a bigger picture? I mean, the physical side of it is one. Meditation, I love that. I think it's a great idea. But any other tips you would give anyone that's listening, whether it's a man or a woman? Because, you know, I can tell you going through the process of having a child, I think my body changed as well.
You know what? Not for nothing, Jim. A lot of people really discount what a man goes through when they become a dad.
Yeah.
They really, really do. And how much it impacts you in like a different way.
Yeah.
Because women right away, we know, I think that maternal instinct really kicks in. And I remember my husband saying, I didn't really realize I was going to be a father until you were in labor. And it wasn't like he was disconnected from the process.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just wasn't, it was real for him in a different way than it was for me.
Right.
Like I grew her. Although sometimes I'm like, I made that. And then sometimes I'm like, right.
Well, okay.
And Jim's like, yeah, sometimes.
I won't say what I thought of.
You can say what you're thinking. This is a safe zone.
Yeah, that's right.
But I appreciate that feedback, and I do because when you take a look and meet with new clientele, I mean, what are some other tips you would give them, really, to start really figuring out their health, whether it's physical or mental, or I mean, I work on the financial side, but anything, all of that. What would you recommend?
The biggest thing that I recommend is to be really realistic with your expectations. I think a lot of the times what happens is, and obviously the breakdown of this is different for every client, but a lot of the times we see the end goal. And the end goal is this amazing, beautiful, bright light thing. It's everything that gets you to that end goal that it's like the dark path and we just forget about it. And what happens as a result of that is that we end up focusing so much on the end goal that we get overwhelmed by it. And then our tendency is to quit.
Yeah.
Or give up or try something for 30 days and then we stop and then we've regressed and then it's 6 months later and now we have all this other work to do to catch up just to where the baseline was originally. So the biggest thing when I first sit down with a client is let's sit down. Let's talk about what your goals are. What do you want? I do not cookie cutter any of this. It is custom tailored to the individual and what they want. So what are your goals? And how are we going to get you there? And then let's be patient with the process, because I know as a trainer, if I can do incremental steps and I can put those into place and we can tweak them to make them work for you week by week, by the end, you're going to have the result that you're looking for. And it will also be a sustainable result for you. Because I'm not in this for people to do it for 30 days and then they're done.
Yeah.
That's not sustainable change. What I want somebody to have is not just the healthy lifestyle, that goal that they've been wanting, but I want them to know that they have it for life. Those skinny jeans, a little black dress. Look, safe zone, looking good naked in front of a mirror to yourself, not anybody else. That's what they want, ultimately, is to look good naked with lights on.
Right.
Lights.
Sounds awesome.
So how do we get you there?
Yeah, right.
Hey, you said we talk about anything. She's right. But if that is the ultimate goal, I don't only want you to get there, I want you to stay there. I don't want you to come back to me in a year and be like, man, I lost all that. I'm gonna be mad if you do that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It's interesting. Our industries are very similar, in terms of the process we bring people through. As well said, it resonates.
I like that. And also when you were talking, I was like, so I wasn't crazy for like starting my retirement plan when I was in my early 20s.
No, you're not. The majority of people don't do that. So no, you're not.
People were like, why are you even thinking about that? I was like, because I don't want to work for forever.
Yeah,
no one can work forever.
Come on.
I actually put you on my website to say that. Just say that out loud. I'm okay with that. I'll give you a 25.
I'll leave that testimonial in a heartbeat. I don't even sure.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh, Lisa, this has been so much fun. I want this to go on for another 30 minutes. Like, how do we do that? I always like to, wrap up things with mottos. I feel like mottos or affirmations or whatever you believe in, a wish. What would be kind of your motto for the moms out there, especially the new moms that might be watching?
Now I got to think. Well, I have a couple of things. So I will back this up with like a little bit of a story. When I train people, I have this tendency to forget the words that come out of my mouth. And I've been told, you're like, God, you're so motivational. And I'm like, cool. And this is why, because when my spidey senses kick in and I'm training people, and I have refined that thin line on how to push a person to the point where they can be successful, because that's ultimately what I want, is for you to walk away. Husband's home. Can you tell?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I want people to walk away feeling successful, because I know mentally that will bring them back. Right. So I get this motivational thing going or whatever, and people have told me that, and I tell them, when I'm in that zone, what I am envisioning in my mind is me at my worst with my injury. 2 days after it happened, 3 days after it happened, not knowing if I would ever walk again, not even having a doctor who knew how to fix me. Obviously, that's a podcast for another time. And being 19 years old. And not knowing what the next day or the next month would look like for me. And so when I talk to people, I will tell them, you've made it through every single bad day. You can get through this. It's all mental.
Right.
No 10-minute little workout is going to own you. You can get through it. You've gotten through all 10 minutes out of a 24-hour day. That's like, I can't do math. That's not a lot of your day. A 15-second interval is even smaller.
Yeah.
You can do it. It's all in your head. And then the other thing that I tell people all the time is, if not now, when? There's never going to be a perfect time. There's never going to be a perfect time to start. There's never going to be a perfect time to level up. There's never going to be a perfect time to grab the heavier weight. Never. If you're waiting for the circumstances of your life to change dramatically so that you can do this, you can wait for forever.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said.
Perfect. I think it's a perfect
like same with finances, and I'm like, Jim.
Oh my god. But no, thank you so much, Lisa, for coming on the show. I hope everybody learned a ton. I did, definitely, and definitely by sharing your story about your business and just your personal story, which I find completely fascinating. Do you have anything like that you want to promote or that's coming up? I know I know you're in San Diego. A lot of us are in winter, depending on the city or state you're in. But we are still obviously kind of doing virtual for a little bit, maybe the rest of this year, hopefully. But I'm sure you work with people from all over, so you have to share with those that are interested in your program.
Well, thank you again for having me. I've had an absolute blast. I'm like, I'll come back on. Y'all have me back. I'm into it.
Yes.
The biggest thing that I would say is, and I know you have this for all the show notes, if people want to connect with me, the website is in the show notes. It's ahealthfullife.org. My Instagram, I also think I gave that to you, is in the show notes as well. You can connect with one or the other to ask me questions, connect with me on that level. If you're struggling and getting started, you're not sure how, reach out and start the conversation. This is why I do what I do, is to help as many people as I can. That being said, the only thing that I would promote is a freebie that I gave to you, Gwen, for your audience. I want people to download it, and this is when I put my coaching hat on. I want people to download it. I want people to do it. That being said, it is a workout guide. The workouts are pre-made, they're written, they're ready to go, but they are baseline workouts, which means that you can level them up or down depending on what you want. Just like any other fitness program, though, you get into it and you feel acute pain, which is different than work, or you're not sure how to do an exercise, or you want to change something and you don't know how. Again, start the conversation. Email me, all that's on the website. Reach out to me through Instagram. The DMs are usually like the fastest way to do it. Talk to me, let me help you out with it, because that's ultimately what I want to do, is help you out so that you can get, what you want out of your fitness program.
Awesome.
This is wonderful. All this information for those of you guys that are watching live will be on the replay. So once this ends later tonight, Lisa's website, her Instagram, as well as the freebie, everything will be up. If you are watching on Facebook, YouTube, you guys will have to wait a little bit later, but it will be up after this kind of propagates, or however the technology of Facebook does, or StreamYard is. Jim, do you have any closing thoughts?
Lisa, this was great. I really enjoyed your story and your message. Like I said, it resonates really, really well with me. And we have a lot of similarities in terms of what we do for a living. And one little plug is we are having a free webinar for retirement planning on the 23rd. If anyone wants to participate and listen in to learn just about what to do with retirement, don't hesitate to let me know and I'll send you the information.
Perfect. So you guys heard it. Jim, if you are looking to get more information on retiring or retirement, make sure to contact Jim. His information will also be on the replay if you guys want to be contact him for the webinar. So, we are currently, my company Love Talk is currently redoing our website, so it might be down a couple days. Don't get upset. While the designers figure out to put up our new site, which will feature our membership for the sexy singles. We are looking for our bachelorette or bachelor. So if you know somebody that's single and pretty hot,
yes,
want to find love virtually, of course, then please let us know. There's other requirements than that, but being attractive doesn't hurt.
Agreed.
Beauty is the eye of the beholder, so or if it's you can contact us as well. It's fine. But thank you again, Lisa. This was so much fun.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate your guys' time.
Love to have you on again.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.